You know what they say, another day, another Google Doc. Very obvious content warning for what's coming ahead. Talks of suicide, self-harm, sexual assault, and sexual encounters. These are very mature and dark topics, so if you guys are not old enough to talk about these kind of things, this video is not for you. This video is for informational and archival purposes, and it is not going to be monetized, as I want those who are listening to watch this or listen to this uninterrupted. So, this document has been requested the most out of any document so far for me to read. A couple of subscribers have asked for me to cover this, and, I was like, you know what, I'll take a look. And I took a look, and I will say this document does look a little more legit than some other docs that I have looked at, so, I will give it that. There was a bit of controversy with this document saying that there was AI use, but, if I'm being honest, I don't know if that's the case. You can see right here in note 2, which I will also narrate, that they put it through a translator program, not using AI. So, if there was a language barrier there, I don't think using AI is you're just translating your work. You're trying to make it look professional. I don't think that's a problem, but that's just me. Not that AI is bad, guys. So, let's stop acting like it is. Anyway, yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and start reading this. There is a lot. This is going to be a longer video. But yeah, this is a evidence-based breakdown of Wren's claims and behavior. Let's go ahead and begin. And of course, you guys already know, I got the water on deck, and you should also drink more water. Okay. Let's begin. An evidence-based breakdown of Wren's claims and behavior. Note: this document was written prior to the release of Zeal's document. As such, this only includes a detailed breakdown of Wren's provided screenshots and behavior. All references to page numbers are in reference to Wren's document. Note 2. I've updated the works cited section. Some titles were mistranslated due to a language barrier. I put my document through a translator program, not using AI, as some have suggested, when I finished it, leading some sources to have different titles. Already coming in strong. They are all updated now in English with proper links. I have also added a highlighted comment addressing my professional background. There will be no more edits. As someone who has read Wren's entire document, all 100 plus pages, and over 200 screenshots, this is my detailed breakdown of all of Wren's claims. Of Wren's claims, not all of them. My bad. I put a word there. After examining the screenshots and timeline, I believe the evidence shows a clear pattern of abusive behavior on her part. About me. I am a college senior with experience conducting multiple research projects in animal behavior. Okay. Okay. I will soon begin graduate studies focused on behavioral research. While my background is not in clinical or forensic psychology, I possess a research-level understanding of foundational behavioral processes, including conditioning, reinforcement schedules, and habitat formation. These principles are well established in the behavioral sciences and apply across species and context. Where relevant, particularly when addressing claims of rapid conditioning or normalization of behavior over a short time frame, I will examine the allegations Wren has made through this scientific lens. What a word, fucking big words there, and Zombiey didn't really struggle. And it sucks because I struggle on the small words. I will go ahead and say animal behavior is very different than human behavior because we operate extremely different than animals, and that is not even me saying, I don't even have a background in it, but anyway, anyway, update. After seeing people discussing my professional background, I wanted to comment on this. I only mentioned my research background to explain why this document is so formal and analytical, hence why I said I would examine things from a scientific lens. I am used to doing research and writing such papers. I'm used to analyzing small details. All of the studies I have referenced, with the exception of Skinner, focus entirely on human behavior and psychology, disregarding the sources I have provided and the research simply because I am majoring in something different is foolish. Thank you. They just answered my question or answered my concerns, so I will give them the benefit of my doubt here. Because behavior is, we are technically animal. Okay, I will read this document with a grain of salt. Because while I am more focused on necessarily pointing out the claims inside of the document, this person seems to be focused on the behavior side of things. Interesting. Okay. I have not looked at this document at all, by the way. This is my first time reading it, so let me just go ahead and get that off, like, right now. Formatting of this document. 1. Zeal did not reconnect with Ren for his own benefit. 2. Zeal did not gate access to relationships. 3. Zeal did not manipulate Ren into being okay with physical contact. And then A, under the 3-point, behavioral science evaluation of claims of rapid normalization and conditioning. 4. Zeal did not selectively, gotta sound it out, selectively engage with Ren. 5. Ren did not develop a fawning response. That's one of my claims, too. 6. Zeal did not sexually assault Ren. 7. Ren attempted to force Zeal into a romantic relationship. 8. Habitually disregards the boundaries of others. 9. Ren's actions are abusive. 10. Ren's borderline personality disorder drove her vilification and retaliation against Zeal. 11. Ren has manipulated the reader of her document. And then 12 is a works cited. Okay. Just read the word. Each section ends with a bullet point recap of its key points. Okay. All right. This has got me interested. I want to see number, what was it? Number 5. I do want to read that part, section 5, the most, because that was one of the claims that I made in my document from the from the research that I did on some of the, some like court cases where fawning has been used as a trauma response, because it has been used, it's identified by psychology that yes, this is a real trauma response, but it's also a trauma response, not a consistent mindset. And the claim that Ren had made is that she had been doing it for months. Okay. That's number 2. Okay, section 1. Zeal did not decide to reconnect with Ren for his own benefit. In Ren's document, she states that not long after Ren was removed from Pressure's development team, Zeal reached out to her to reconnect. These are her exact words. And I quote Ren's words, "He decided we should reconnect. He befriended me again for his own benefit, conditioned me to not think too much of physical contact, and took his chances to get me alone." Let's see. Note that Ren wrote, "He decided we should reconnect." This claim is directly contradicted by her own screenshots. Ren initiated the reconnection by sending Zeal a picture of her nails. Although her annotation briefly acknowledges this, the cropped image omits her first message. Oh, shit. I do remember this. Creating the initial impression that Zeal reached out first. For readers who skimmed the document, this detail is easily missed. Fig 1. Ren then asked Zeal to hang out, suggesting they reconnect on a more consistent basis. When Zeal initially declined her offer, Ren continued pushing by asking for an invite to his server and inviting him to join hers. Oh. Well, that's hi, Black Nails. Sent a picture of the nails. We don't have proof of this. However, that's a weird opening text to send to somebody. We continue onward. Okay. Still said, "Hi, Black Nails. Hi, want to hang out sometime. I hang out with whales often and we play games." I'm about to drive an hour to a birthday, so not right now. Oh, of course, not right now, just sometime. I'd love to join back when you are, or invite you to my server if you want, or both. Fig 1. Ren initiates the reconnection. She sent the first message, Nail's picture, suggested hanging out, and pushed for several invites on both sides. This contradicts her claim that Zeal decided we should reconnect. Now, there isn't proof of that, but I will say that's not a normal response to just be like, hey, hi, Black Nails. But at the same time, anyway, no, I'm sorry. I'm always skeptical. I'm skeptical of everything, especially here. Next, Ren's annotations claim that Zeal invited himself to her server. Here are her exact words. The exact words reads, Zeal invites me to his dev server, then retracts that, while inviting himself to my community server. This is directly contradicted by screenshots. Fig 1 shows that Ren is the first to suggest they join each other's Discord server, while Fig 2 shows Ren sending her server invite to Zeal just 1 minute after he sent his own. Ren sent the invite proactively and immediately without being asked. This occurred before Zeal had spoken with the pressure staff about her return. The claim that Zeal's retraction of his own server invite somehow counts as inviting himself to hers does not hold up under the actual timeline and sequence of messages. There's a big gap in between here. If you wanna, and then Ren sent her community server. If not, also, there's a lot of people, maybe. Also, I need to be verified. And then Zeal said, talk to fellow staff. This is work only. I want to keep it professional, so you can't join. Sorry. Fig 2. Ren sending her server invite immediately after Zeal sent his own. Zeal explains that his server will be kept professional due to a mutual staff decision. Next, Ren continued pushing the reconnection in the same conversation. She mentioned a game she had been playing with a friend, and when Zeal did not reply immediately, she followed up by suggesting another game and asking to play together. Fig 3. Wait a minute. Oh, is there like a screenshot coming? Okay, there is. Wait, is there? Yes, there is. Okay, sorry. I was like, huh? Where's the screenshot? Anyway, Fig 3, Zeal did not initiate any of the suggestions to game or join voice chat. The interaction was driven by Ren's repeated requests. Ren does show Zeal asking whether she would be attending RDC. However, this question occurred within the same initial reconnection conversation. She frames it as deliberate coordination on Zeal's part, captioning the exchange with the following, and the quotation from Ren. Immediately after excluding me from his server, Zeal asks, will you be at RDC? I confirm I have my visa and am booked. This framing is misleading. Zeal had already explained that the server was restricted to work only following a staff decision. He did not exclude her personally. See Fig 2. That's Fig 1. This is Fig 2. Yeah, okay. Yep. That makes sense. Okay. Sorry. I just jumped. My bad. CFig did not exclude her personally. CFig 2. The screenshot shows a normal conversation about a shared event between two people who have not spoken in some time, rather than any pre-planned scheme by Zeal. Okay. And then Ren said, yeah, me and Wales have been playing Fallout New Vegas. There's like a 10-minute jump. We also played Peak. Would you like to play Peak sometime when you're not busy? Zeal says, that game doesn't look interesting to me. Will you be at RDC? Yes, got my visa booked. Ren continues pushing reconnection by mentioning games and suggesting they play together. Similarly, Ren portrays Zeal asking when she will arrive at RDC as deliberate coordination, claiming that he immediately shares his hotel. This is contradicted by the screenshots. Ren asked which hotel Zeal will be staying in, and he simply answered her question, Fig 4. She was the one who suggested they meet up in person. I do remember this. Zeal asks which day I will arrive at RDC. When I answer, he responds enthusiastically that we will arrive at the same time, then immediately shares his hotel. This coordination was deliberate. When we get the RDC? Which day? 1st of September, I arrive at night. Why? Same time as me. Whoa, where are you staying? Let's meet up. Let's meet up. Hey guys, where are you staying? Let's meet up. What does that sound like? What does that fucking sound like? Sounds like you're trying to plan meeting up with somebody. Fucking God. Marriott. Okay. Fig 4. Ren asking where Zeal will be staying and suggesting that they meet up. Not only does Ren suggest they meet up once, she does so a second time. Fig 5. Yeah, this is Fig 4. As with the initial reconnection, she was the one actively pushing for closer proximity. Zeal eventually agreed, though his responses were noticeably less enthusiastic than hers. Keep this in mind for future sections. Zeal says the stupid. Ren says, want to meet up with me and blank on the 2nd? What are the dates here? This is within the same conversation. Want to meet up with me and blank on the 2nd unless you have plans. Brink said he'd pick me up from the airport on the 1st. Zeal said, we got whale watching, but I'm sure be there. That fucking sentence. Be there, be time. I'm sure there'll be time. My bad. Is that a word? There'll be time? Yeah, it sounds like a word. I'm going to just nod my head and agree. Fig 5. Ren suggests meeting up with Zeal a second time. Yeah? She said, let's meet up, and then let's meet up again. It's almost like... he wanted to meet up with somebody. In summary, Ren initiated the reconnection and drove it forward through repeated suggestions. Zeal did not invite himself into her server or space. Yeah, I don't know. That's fucking weird, bro. Like, this shit up here, if you just scroll up, like, he sends her the, like, invite, and then, like, immediately after, look, 5:01 p.m. to then here, 5:02 p.m. if you wanna, into her server. He didn't deliberately invite her in, bro. What? That's a contradiction. Ren proposed meeting up in person on both occasions. Several of Ren's annotations create a misleading impression of who initiated key exchanges. The screenshots she provided often directly contradict the narrative presented in her document. I'm going to get a sip of water. It's number 3. Okay. Section 2. Zeal did not gate access to Ren's relationships. Okay, Ren claims that Zeal gated access to her relationships. Her own screenshots directly contradict this claim. Ren stated that on August 12th, she asked permission to contact Zerum. She did not. She asked if it was a bad time to reach out and apologize. Zeal simply responded yes. Figure 6. This was a direct answer to her question, not a prohibition or act of gatekeeping. I asked whether I can apologize to Zerum. He gates access with one word. How's Zerum doing? Not good. Is it bad timing right now for me to apologize for blocking her during that time when I wasn't doing too good? Yes. Okay. Fig 6. The annotation under this from Ren's document. I asked permission to apologize to a friend after taking time away from the team and was denied. Excuse me. Oh my God. Just burped. Fig 6. Ren asks if it would be a bad time to reach out to Zerum. Zeal responds with yes. Okay. Yeah, it's not a prohibition. Okay. On August 30th, Ren asked if Zerum would be receptive to an apology. Zeal explains that Zerum isn't doing well, stating that she doesn't even talk to him due to pain from her health condition. Fig 7. Ren captions this as Zeal gating. Again, this is Zeal directly answering a request for advice and an update on Zerum's health. I'm biting you. Zeal, may I talk with Zerum and apologize now? Or would she still not be in the mood yet? She's constantly hurting, like she doesn't even talk to me because of her condition. The annotation under it reads, I asked again to apologize to Zerum from the team. Zeal, he said that he gates. Fig 7. Ren asks whether Zerum would be receptive to an apology. Brain fart as fuck. Fig 7. Ren asked whether Zerum would be receptive to an apology. Zeal explains that Zerum is not doing well. Ren captions this as Zeal gaining access to her relationships. In summary, Zeal did not gain access to Ren's relationships. Both exchanges how Zeal giving direct, honest responses to Ren's questions about timing and Zerum's well-being. Ren's presentation misrepresents straightforward advice as control. It's number 4. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I can somewhat get behind this. It's like one thing, you look at this and you just look at the screenshot and it's like, okay, right? You know, you see the yes, it's a bad time to do this, but you could technically frame it as gatekeeping. I don't think it's gatekeeping. I think it's giving advice. So I kind of have to agree with the author on this one. Yeah. Well, okay. Moving on. Section 3. Zeal did not manipulate Ren into being okay with physical contact. Ren claims Zeal manipulated her through text by gradually normalizing physical and intimate situations ahead of RDC. The screenshots show that Ren repeatedly initiated flirtatious and physical-themed exchanges and was not the first to propose initiate contact at RDC. Furthermore, scientific research does not support her claims of normalization in this time frame. Examples of Ren initiating the soft/flirty content. August 27th at 5:48 p.m. Ren sends a buddy picture first. Wait. Pause. What? Ren sends a bunny picture first. When Zeal responds with you and I'm petting you, Ren continues the exchange. Ren is the only one who introduces the idea of intimacy at RDC by sending a photo of 2 bunnies snuggling with the caption, us at RDC. Zeal did not respond to this message from her. Can I get a fact check on this one really fast? Well. Now this is a little fishy. I thought this was the first message, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold the fucking phone right here. Zoom out. Sorry, this is my doc. I'm going back here because I have a, what's it called? This is where I have everything, and I thought that was the first encounter. Hold on. Where's this at? It's like right here. Right, begin sending soft content, primarily rabbits, videos coming in memes with captions like, can we do this to me, your bunny, you're getting swished. Okay, sorry guys. I'm like Tony Stark in that one fucking scene from Endgame where he's got like the shit open and he's like looking at it and he's like trying to connect the dots. That's me. Wait, okay, Ren sends a bunny picture first. Actually, wait, hold on. No. No, well, Ren sends a bunny picture first, but if you look on my document, that's not the case. He sends this first on the 26th. So that is a no. No. Hold on. Okay. Guys, I said I would point out bullshit where I see it, okay? And I am going to point out this bullshit. This is not, I might just fucking skip this section because, like, manipulate Ren into being okay with physical contact. The claim that the writer and the author makes, Ren is the one who first introduces the idea of intimacy at RDC. What's at RDC? I mean, like, if you connect the docs, it's like, can we do this? It starts on the 26th, so that's kind of a, I don't know if this is a claim you can necessarily make, because Zeal initiated this shit. You see, guys? I point out bullshit on both sides. You can't fucking sit there and say that I don't, because I do. I've looked at everything. Anyway, moving on. Literally us. Okay, Ren introduced the idea. Intimate. Zeal does not respond. But Zeal sent him. Why are we not including shit that Zeal sent? I get this is an incredibly biased take I say biased. This this document seems like a very biased take, but still, like, you gotta include the shit that's still, like, okay. And people like to say I'm not neutral. All right. A full day of her previous message went unanswered. Ren reinitiates contact by sending a meme referencing physical contact, the same type she later threats as evidence of planned physical contact. Zeal responds playfully, and Ren replies with a rat gif. Ren annotates this exchange as the third explicit statement of planned physical contact, despite the fact that she was the one who initiated it. That is not true. This right here, this is not true. She did not send these pictures first. It was Zeal, and you can literally go back in the document. This was sent on the 26th of fucking August. Okay. I'm gonna skip. I'm already okay. I'm gonna keep reading it, but I'm still gonna call it out for bullshit. But you can see, yeah, the jump here. Yeah, reinitiates by sending a meme referencing physical contact. There's like a day jump. Yeah, okay. You're a dumb rat. I'm going to switch you at RDC. Fig 11, Ribben labels the conversation as the third explicit statement of planned physical contact despite initiating it herself. That's not true. August 30th, Zeal jokes that he is going to pick up and kick around Ren. Fig 12, this continues the exact style of playful physical joking that Ren herself had initiated 2 days earlier. When she joked about strangling Zeal, see Fig 10, Ren responds enthusiastically with, okay, and sends her own physical contact meme depicting one friend smashing another with a brick, Fig 13. Ren then asks if she wanted to do stupid shit at RDC, to which Ren again responds with clear enthusiasm. Zeal later sends several bunny pictures depicting the bunnies snuggling or sitting close together, asking if she wanted to do that to do what they were doing. Ren replies affirmatively to the images. Despite this sequence, Ren label... I can't pronounce my fucking R's and L's, bro. Ren labels this section by claiming these messages must be read in the context of what he had said about his physical plans at RDC. These are her exact words. Zeal sends a series of animal videos with the caption, want to do this or equivalents. The sequence escalates. Reader note, these are being read in the context of what he had already said about the physical plans at RDC. In bold, this framing is misleading. Ren was the one who first introduced the idea of physical intimacy at RDC days earlier. That's not true. Zeal started that. If you are watching this document right now, to the person who's watching this document, if you wrote this, you need to fucking change that, because that is not true. You're so dumb, hee hee. I'm gonna pick you up around. Okay. Cool. Cool. Fig 12. Zeal jokes in the same physical manner that Ren herself had joked in days prior. Smash my head with this brick quickly. Bonds of friendship have never been stronger. Want to do stupid shit at RDC? Yes, I'm expert at doing stupid shit. Fig 13. Ren sends a physical contact meme. Okay. Friend smashing another with a brick. An enthusiastic response to Zeal's joke. This mirrors the playful physical joking Ren herself started on August 18th. Or 28th. You just said it was the 27th. Buddy. Right here. 27th. Yeah, what? Now you're getting the dates wrong? Can I trust you as a proper editor, a proper researcher? Are you a proper researcher and you can't get... I mean, I get like a typo here and there, but like... That's just not true. Wait, mirrors the physical joking Ren herself started on... Hold on. Sorry, guys. I want to make sure I'm like... Okay, yeah, alright. Maybe... Hold on. Sorry. Strangles you until your face turns purple, but I'm a rat, so it's okay. She does start that on the 28th, but she does not start this, like, two animals cuddling shit. That was Zeal. I think even Zeal himself... I don't know if Zeal himself made that claim or not. Still. You see, I'm analyzing this document as someone who's also written another document. So, like, I can see where things kind of line up and don't. I'm not trying to like discredit this person, but that the claim that Ren did it first is just not fucking true. Okay. Anyway, August 30th, Zeal Jokes is going to pick you up and kick you around. I think I already read this. I think I did. Yes, I did. My bad. Sorry. Additionally, Ren sexually frames one of the bunny images, describing it as one bunny mounting another, writing, "This is where it shifts, cute to sexual, reframed from cuddling to mounting, framed as something they both want. This characterization is inaccurate. The image she labels as sexual activity shows one bunny simply resting on top of the other." Fig 15. The entire exchange remains consistent with the lighthearted, playful, and physical banter Ren had willingly engaged in and escalated herself just days prior. Okay, that sentence is fine. She did escalate it. Escalate is like she engaged in it. Take out the escalation. She did engage in it. For further context, Ren continued the physical contact jokes after this point. Yeah, want to do this? Yeah, I remember this. Fig 14, Ren replies affirmatively to Zeal's bunny snuggling image. Want to do this? Oh, wait, there's two. Wait a minute! There's two! I thought there was only one! There was two versions of yeah. Well, fuck, I was wrong on that! There were two. Okay, didn't fucking know that. The more you know, you know? Anyway. Zeal sends a video of one bunny mounting another. Yeah, I already read that. Fig 15. Ren annotates this bunny image as one bunny mounting another and presents it as sexual. The actual screenshot shows one bunny simply resting on top of another. On top of the other. My bad. This is consistent with Ren's own physical contact suggestions. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think that's number 5. Okay. Flings you across the map. Hi, throws you up. I thought you said throws up. I was going to be like, what? Why? Hi. Hey, Zeal. Hey, hi, Ren. And this is... Okay. Fig 16. Ren continued physical contact jokes immediately after the previously shown content. I mean, yeah. August 30th. Zen sends a meme. Fucking God! Anyway, sorry about that. I know that was probably loud. Zen sends a meme about biting Ren. Ren responds by sending a picture of a bunny biting a plushie labeled "Me to You." She captions this exchange as an example of Zeal normalizing this type of joke into her vocabulary. This claim is inaccurate. Ren herself had initiated the same style of playful physical joking days earlier. She didn't initiate it, but she engaged in it. Disclaimer. When she joked about strangling Zeal, engaged in it and also joked about that. Furthermore, this exchange does not demonstrate normalization. I will address Ren's broader claims about rapid normalization and conditioning in more detail later in this section. Want to bite you, me to you, I'm biting you. Yeah, okay. This is how normalization works at the end of that. Fig 17, Ren responds to Zeal's biting meme by sending a picture of a bunny biting a plushie labeled "Me to You." She presents this as evidence of Zeal's normalization, such jokes into her vocabulary, despite having initiated similar playful physical joking herself days earlier. August 30th at 6:31 p.m., Ren sends a photo of two bunnies captioned "Bunny Hat" and asks, "Can we do this?" Zeal's response, "Yeah, you can sit on top of me, stupid hat." Okay. Ren labeled this exchange as the 5th explicit statement of physical contact, a planned physical contact, while omitting the key fact that she was the one that initiated the request. She further describes it as a culmination, I said that right, of Zeal's bunny proxy pattern. This framing is misleading. Ren herself had initiated and perpetrated the bunny-themed physical banter days earlier. See figs 8 and 9. Okay. I feel so bad. Wish to make up and comfort her. Could you screenshot this and maybe send it to her? It was never her. I was just going through a lot of shit back then, and I finally on meds and calmer now. Can we do this? Yeah, you can sit on top of me, stupid hat. Okay. 5th explicit statement of planned physical contact on the annotation from Ren. The document says, Fig 18, Ren sends a photo of 2 bunnies captioned bunny hat and directly asks Zeal, can we do this, initiating the specific, the physical contact in question. I'm almost out of water. That's like number 6. Okay. Let's see. Ren says in her document on August 30th, 2025, gift access sit on top of me. I was in a mall shopping for gifts to bring to my friends before my flight. I offer to buy Zeal a gift as well. He deflects, but redirects Kara by naming someone else, Kat, who likes the same thing I offered, completely ignoring the fact that the connection between the two, I and Kat, was severed a long time ago. Later, the same afternoon, the bunny proxy pattern culminates. I think so. Yeah, I fucking give up. And yeah, you can sit on top of me. Followed by him explicitly asking my height. Fig 19. Ren frames her own request for physical contact as the culmination of Zeal's bunny proxy pattern, despite having initiated and driven the bunny-themed banter herself. The conversation continues with Ren asking, wait, deadass, hold on, are you actually that strong to carry people on your back? Zeal responds, I can carry you on my back, arms wherever. Ren then enthusiastically asks Zeal to carry her at RDC. I have also made a comment about this. Once again, Ren is the one who reintroduces the topic of physical contact at RDC. In her annotation, she frames the exchange as evidence that Zeal was deliberately pushing her physical boundaries, claiming that this was the moment his weeks of work paid off. That's fucking bullshit. That's so fucking bullshit. I'm sorry, that's so fucking bullshit. Weeks worth of... Okay, bro. This characterization is inaccurate. Ren herself had first proposed meeting up with Zeal at RDC. See Figs 4 and 5. That's not true. Wait, hold on. Wait. Ren herself had first proposed meeting up with Zeal at RDC. That is true. And was the first to introduce the idea of intimate physical contact at the event. Not true. Zeal did that, but we never got a response. We still don't know if there was a consensual response there. I don't know. She is also the one who directly initiated this specific discussion. Yeah, you can sit on me, stupid hat. Wait, dead ass. Hold on, you're actually that strong. Can you carry people on your back? I can carry you on my back and arms whenever. Can we please do that? Yes, I do remember that. I annotated that. The moment of weeks paid off. So fucking, yeah. Weeks of repeated physical framing had echoed back to what he wanted to hear in our text messages. Shut the fuck up. Which he then used to cover the act of my body at RDC without asking. Oh my god. I mean, this last sentence right here, yeah, like, okay. He should have asked to do it, like, straight up. Like, he should have. Like, let's just be real. Like, a handshake would have been more formal, not a fucking, like, going up and immediately picking her up. You gotta ask for that shit, even though... Can we please do that at RDC? It's like, you're asking if he can do that, if you can carry him, but, like, at the same... I don't know. Figure 21. Ren's annotation claiming that Zeal's weeks of work paid off. This framing admits that Ren herself had previously suggested the in-person meetup at RDC. That Ren suggested intimate physical contact at the event, Fig 9, and that she was the one who directly asked Zeal to carry her at RDC. All right, this is going to be a marathon. I'm going to go get another glass of water. Okay. I see some big words in here. You're about to see Zombey's dyslexia in the best fucking example of all time. That was number 7. Okay, of sips of water. Okay, behavioral science evaluation of claims of rapid normalization and conditioning. These exchanges span only 4 days, August 26th to 30th. Ren asserts that This brief period allowed Zeal to manipulate and condition her into accepting physical contact by establishing a pattern. Behavioral science does not support this interpretation. The psychological processes Wren describes gradual desensitization. Wow. Maybe I should just give up. All right. Gradual desensitization to physical/intimate contact and normalizing boundary shifts require sustained repetition, consistent reinforcement, and incremental escalation over extended periods. Even simple habitat formation takes much longer. The median time for a new behavior to reach automaticity? Big fucking word. I'm going to just say to reach automatis. Is 66 days with a wide range of 18 to 254 days depending on the behavior and consistency of the practice. And then works cited right there. Complex social behaviors involving personal boundaries and intimacy would be expected to require even greater sustained exposure and gradual shaping. Research on coercive control and grooming reinforce this timeline requirement. These processes are consistently described as incremental and prolonged, typically taking place over weeks, months, or years rather than a handful of text exchanges. Stark 2007 Winters and I'm not even going to try to read that. 2017 last name works cited in quotation bullet point. Models of operant conditioning similarly emphasize... Jesus, man. Getting more water. I'm sorry. This is going to be rough. This is going to be a rough read. We're 28 pages out of 77. But goddamn, there's a lot here. Anyway, as I was saying, models of operant conditioning similarly emphasize the necessity of repeated pairings and reinforcement schedules for meaningful behavioral change to occur. Works cited again. A 4-day window of playful messages lacks the repetition, consistency, and one-sided pressure needed for any meaningful normalization of physical contact. Okay. I do know, and this is there's always the it's like the it's the workout, like to build a habit it takes 2 weeks, right? You do something every day for 2 weeks, it builds a habit. That is like the motto that I've got for like anything. So, I'm going to use, excuse me, holy shit. I can get behind, jeez, whoa, okay. I swear I'm drinking water, by the way. I'm just talking a lot. Furthermore, yeah, what? That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Building a habit, like, out of that, like, normalization with 4 days of texting is kind of crazy. His weeks? Yeah, wait, what? His weeks have paid off. Bitch, this was 4 days! I don't know about your calendar, but my calendar is, it's like 7 days. That's not even a full week! Weeks of repeated physical framing had echoed back to what he wanted me to hear in our text messages. The first thing was sent on fucking August 26th, bro. 4 days on... When was this shit? Hold on. On some real shit. August 30th. Okay, man. Yeah, sure, buddy. Normalization. I built a habit. Fucking God. Okay. Furthermore, flirting and the early development of intimacy are well established as reciprocal, co-constructed processes that depend on mutual participation from both individuals rather than unilateral imposition. Multiple works cited. The screenshots show Wren actively initiating flirtatious content and proposal for physical contact at RDC on multiple occasions, with enthusiastic and reciprocal engagement from both sides. Some may argue that Zeal's status as a developer of a popular game created a power imbalance that enabled rapid manipulation despite the short time frame. However, community popularity or status does not equate to the coercive leverage required for boundary normalization. Coercive control research shows that effective power imbalances involve sustained dependency, ongoing leverage, or repeated patterns of control, none of which are present here between two independent adults attending a public conference with no professional, financial, or ongoing authority relationship. And then another works cited. The documented reciprocal initiation enthusiasm from Ren further contradict any claim of a one-sided exploitation of status. Bolded here, the 4-day time frame combined with the reciprocal nature of these exchanges renders Ren's claims of manipulation and normalization psychologically impossible, according to established research on habit formation, conditioning, and coercive control and interpersonal intimacy. Holy shit, that was a fucking word vomit. Well said, but man, for someone like myself, that was terrible. I apologize if you're still listening and had the torture of having to hear me read that, but wow. Okay. Yeah, I will say 4 days. They're like this fucking claim right here. The weeks of work paid off. The weeks of repeated physical framing. Motherfucker, it was 4 days. It was 4 days. Let's be fucking real. Okay, come on now. Come on, bro. In summary, Ren repeatedly initiated the flirtatious and soft content herself. Repeatedly initiated. Okay, I think you could have that claim in there, but she did not start it. Like, she didn't start it initially. So, let me just go ahead and say that. Ren was the one who proposed intimate physical contact at RDC on multiple occasions. Zeal did not respond to Ren's first suggestion of physical intimacy at RDC. We don't know who responded first because Zeal sent the message and there is a time jump in between when other messages were sent. So, just saying. The exchanges were mutual and playful, while with both parties initiating and engaging in similar joking rather than one-sided manipulation. The entire pattern occurred over only 4 days. According to established research on habit formation and behavioral shaping, this time frame is far too short for the kind of conditioning or normalization of physical contact that Ren alleges. Several of Ren's annotations misrepresent who initiated exchanges and reinterpret non-sexual images as sexual. I like that last one. I like that last one. Section 4. Zeal did not selectively engage with Ren. Ren claims that Zeal selectively engaged with her by sending shorter messages when the topic did not involve handling her body. Yeah. Okay, I did. I know when I was reading Ren's document, I made a comment about this, how he was just being really cut and dry. I think that's number 8. Or maybe I already counted 8. Maybe that's 9. I think it's still 8. She also alleges that Zeal ignored normal conversation. Okay. And then from her document, she states, I shared my music in vulnerability about my creative work. Zeal responds with 2 words. Notice the contrast. Extended messages about plans to handle my body at RDC. A 2-word response to my creative self-disclosure. Fig 22. Ren claims that Zeal selectively engaged with her based on whether the topic involved physical contact with her body. 2 explicit statements of planned physical contact ignored normal conversation. Fig 23, Ren's annotation claiming that Zeal ignored normal conversation. Under it, oh god, alright. A lot of words. Okay, this claim is not supported by the evidence provided. Across the many screenshots Wren includes from the Reconnection period, figs 1 through 21, and document page 6 through 35, Zeal is consistently shown to be a dry, short texter compared to Wren. Regardless of the topic, his communication style does not change based on content. Okay. This is further demonstrated on pages 59 to 62 of Wren's document, fig 24 and 25. In this conversation, Wren reaches out to Zeal when she is upset and wants to talk about serious things. Instead of ignoring her or giving minimal responses, Zeal repeatedly asks what is wrong. With what stuff? Like what? What did you want to talk about? Checks in with her. Let me know if there's anything. Let me know if there is anything. And tries to comfort her. Why? What's up? He actively engages with her emotional concerns rather than only responding when the topic is physical or sexual. This directly just spit like all over my mic. Holy spitball, Batman. It's number 9. This directly contradicts her allegation of selective engagement. Okay. The specific screenshot Wren cites as evidence of selective engagement, figs 26 through 29, also fail to support her claim. In this exchange, she notes that Zeal gave a short reply to her comment about music, but sent a longer message when discussing picking her up and throwing her around at RDC. However, Zeal's only references to physical contact in the conversation are the brief phrases. What are your plans for RDC? And I'm gonna meet you and pick you up and throw you around. In comparison, his responses to Wren's other topics, including insulting Roblox's CEO and kidding a character, are more numerous, similar in tone, and equally as long. There is no evidence in the screenshots of selective engagement based on physical or sexual content. The pattern Wren highlights is simply Zeal's normal way of texting. Yeah, it's kind of the same, like, all the way around. Like, you read all of the talks, like, even after. Dude, even in the Twitter DMs, it's still kind of cut and dry. It's like he's barely kind of giving a response. And then bro's just, like, she's just typing out a fuck ton. I can get behind this claim right here. Zeal did not selectively engage with Wren. The screenshots she shows provide nothing more than his ordinary communication habits. She prevents this typical behavior as something calculated in order to advance her argument. Let's see here. We were inside with Boba. Can we, like, continue talking about stuff? Because I started crying and stuff in the lobby. Kind of just inappropriate. What stuff? Working friends and what happened and stuff. But, like, IRL because it's better and more normal. Like what? Never mind. It's nothing really. It's okay. What did you want to talk about? I don't know. Yeah, he's asking. It's okay. What did you want to talk about? I don't know. Okay, let me know if there's anything. Are you working? Yeah, but it isn't important. Can you IRL screen share? Figs 24 and 25. Wren reaches out to Zeal when she is upset and wants to talk. Zeal actively asks what is wrong and tries to comfort her, continuously engaging in her emotional needs. What for? Like new work or just for funds? Wren says funds. I don't have work yet. I want to learn more music. Not good enough yet. Lacking. Zeal says, okay, good lucks. Thank you. So stupid, says Zeal. Wren says, idiot. She's so me. Do you know kenning a character is when you look at a character and go, they're like me, they're me, but character. I ken her. Hee hee. Or heh. Heh. Zeal, I know that. I found it silly, but I don't mind. What are your plans for RDC? Wren, to be honest, not sure. Blank is planning stuff, but I don't know, really. I want to meet up with Cyborg. Hope he's still up for it, because we said we'd go to a cafe. Zeal said, I'm going to meet you and pick you up and throw you around. Wren, I think this is just a big screenshot from Wren's document. Zeal said, I'm gonna meet you up, pick you around, throw you around. You may do that. I like being picked up and thrown around. Let's read that again. You may do that. I like being picked up and thrown around. Should we read this for a third time? Nah. Anyway. I'm, in fact, a creature. Blank said we're going to meet up with David's CEO. I'm like, can we tell him his platform sucks ass? He's like, yeah. Well, don't do that. Do not do that. I'm kidding. Do not tell the CEO that the platform I've been on sucks ass. Yeah, and then she annotates under, note this verbal statement is a playful online chat context was later used as an explicit justification. It does not consent to being grabbed without greeting in public. You may do that. You may do that. I like being picked up and thrown around. I'm going to... Wait a minute. I'm going to pick you... I'm going to meet you and pick you up and throw you around. You may do that. I like being picked up and thrown around. You may do that. You may do that. You may do that. You know, it's almost like that kind of sounds like consent. But you know, you want to know what you might have to do here, right? And it might just be a stretch. Guys, sign a fucking contract anytime that you do anything with anybody, because goddamn, anything that is not under a NDA, or not an NDA, a fucking legal contract, isn't consensual. But hey, what do I fucking know? Taking another sip of water. It's number 10. Anyway, moving on. Zeal sent his fucking emoji. Ren said, hee hee, it's nice. Being silly friends again. I finally feel normal about you again. Something about working made it not feel normal. Now it's finally normal. Yay. Zero also tells me he's so happy and I'm glad my friend is silly happy. Win-win. This means I can meet my friend Zero next year at RDC. Your ass. Yeah, I forgot she was banned. The stupid silly. Figs 26, 27, 28, and 29. The conversation cited by Ren. Zeal responds to topics including music, Roblox CEO, killing a character, and physical plans at RDC. His replies to physical, non-physical topics are comparable in length and tone to his comments about physical contact. Yeah. I'm going to pick you up. Don't do that. I mean... Yeah, they are. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, okay. In summary, I'm excited for this next section. Zeal's texting style is consistently dry and concise across all topics, as shown throughout Ren's earlier screenshots, Figs 1 through 21. The next bullet point reads, the screenshots show no evidence of selective engagement based on whether the topic involved physical contact. There is no indication that Zeal ignored normal conversation. He engaged with multiple unrelated topics in the same exchange with replies that were more numerous, similar in tone, and equally as long. And Figs 24 to 27. Ren misrepresents Zeal's normal, consistent texting habits as deliberate, selective engagement for sexual purposes. Oh, wow. Yeah, that... Bro's just a dry texter, okay? But no, he's, Bro's Ayano Koji, bro. Or some shit. Oh my god. Okay, section 5. Ren did not develop a fawning response. Ren claims to have developed a fawning response from Zeal being cold, causing her to scramble to get him back. Fawning is a trauma response like fight or flight or freeze, except instead of running or shutting down, you start people-pleasing to survive. You become whatever the threat wants you to be, so it does not get worse and more painful. I've been doing this for months. Oh, I fucking hate that sentence without knowing it. Every time he went cold and I scrambled to bring him back, I was being conditioned into it. By September 3rd, it was automatic. Fig 30. Ren claiming she developed a fawn response from Zeal conditioning her through coldness. While fawning is discussed in certain clinical frameworks, it is not a core... Guys, I'm going to struggle on this next... Okay. All right. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Empirically validated neurobiological... Oh, my God. You read this on screen. I can't fucking read this. Empirically validated neurobiological trauma response in mainstream scientific psychology. Unlike fight, flight, and freeze, which are backed by decades of neuropsychological studies. Fawning remains primarily a clinical observation that lacks large-scale validation. Okay, and that works cited is from 23. Claims relying on it as an automatic involuntary explanation for adult behavior require caution. Even when taking this concept at face value, fawning is typically described as originating from prolonged childhood or early relational trauma. It is a chronic, deeply ingrained pattern that required sustained, ongoing exposure to threat and repeated enforcement over a prolonged period. Okay, stop. Zombie wording here. I'm not going to act like I know Ren's trauma or childhood back then. I don't like this sentence because this is like you trying to act like you know them. My issue with this statement, I had been doing it for months without knowing, is that this doesn't hold true. Like this isn't normally the case with a trauma response. Right? There was no threat of danger. And, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a fucking psychologist, so, I don't want to sit here and make a claim that I am not officially back to make. However, repeated engagement, right? This has been repeated engagement. That does not appear as though, fawning to me, at least, from the definitions that I have read. I'm going to continue reading. I don't like this because this is I'll continue. Research on adult sexual grooming and coercive control follows a similar pattern. These proceeds demand prolonged stages of trust building, desensitization, and dependency. Okay. Ren's claim that Zeal's cold, blunt behavior while texting caused her to develop the fawn response does not meet the scientific criteria, as established in Section 4. Zeal's dry texting style was consistent across all topics and did not constitute selective engagement. As shown in Section 3, Ren herself often initiated and repeatedly escalated the flirtatious and physical contact themes. With no selective coldness from Zeal and no fearful scrambling on Ren's part, there was simply no pattern of rejection that could have been conditioned into her fawn response. Okay. Does that claim not contradict this one? Fawning is typically described as originating from prolonged childhood or early relational trauma. It is chronic, deeply ingrained pattern that requires sustained, ongoing exposure to threat, and repeated enforcement over a long period of time. Okay, you know what? I guess not. It doesn't. Okay, I feel a little indifferent about this, but I'm trying to form words. I don't have a response off the top of my head. I have to think about that, but I'll continue. As shown in Section 3, Ren herself admitted, with no selective coldness. That's right, I already read that. Next thing, the timeline in Ren's own document further confirms this impossibility. After quitting on June 29th, there were 43 days of zero contact before Ren initiated Reconnection on August 11th. From Reconnection to the alleged incident on September 3rd, only 23 days elapsed. Additionally, she labels the physical contact framing as being on August 24th, leaving just 10 days between the first mention of physical contact and their sexual encounter. These brief periods fall far from the prolonged exposure required for a fawn response to develop. I can get behind that. I can get behind this statement. Furthermore, Ren's own screenshots from the Reconnection period, pages on her document 6 to 35, sections 1 and 3 figs, and the second sexual encounter, pages 78, 96 to 100, figs 35 to 39 in section 6 show the opposite of fawning. Far from passive appeasement, Ren exhibited clear agency through repeated initiation, enthusiastic escalation of the very physical and very intimate topics she later calls manipulative. She sent the first message on August 11th, suggested meeting up at RDC multiple times, reopened conversations after silence, and directly propose specific intimate acts such as, can we do this? That statement is correct. Okay. I need more water. Delicious. I think that's 11. Okay. Wow, already an hour and 5 minutes in. If you're still watching this video or listening to it, comment the master of the herd, because I lead my elephants. It takes a wise man to lead his elephants. Yes, I knew where I was going with that, I promise. Anyway, moving on. Furthermore, Ren's on screenshots from the Reconnection period. I already read all that. She sent the first message on August 11th. I already read that. Prior to their second sexual encounter, Ren actively talked to Zeal about respecting her and explicitly laid out her boundaries, requests, and expectations for sex. Pages 78, 96 to 100 in Ren's document, and figures 35, 39 in section 6. Someone in a true fawn response would not have done this. Fawning involves suppressing one's own needs to appease the other person, not openly communicating boundaries or taking control of the encounter. People pleasing. Anyway, moving on. Ren could not have developed a fawn response. The cold style she described was simply Zeal's consistent blunt texting during 23 days of her own enthusiastic initiation. Sort of, in quotation marks, I would add there. In every respect, the evidence she herself supplies shows that a fawn response was impossible, which I agree with. In summary, fawning requires prolonged, ongoing threat and produces several compliance and self-denial. The next bullet point reads, the documented timeline provides only 23 days of interaction, far below what is required for a chronic trauma response such as fawning. We don't know her childhood. We don't know what she was grown up to have. The only reason for me, at least, why this doesn't look like fawning is because you are pleasing. I mean, look, dude, you're pleasing this, like, there's a line, right? You were communicating as well for this to happen. There's a line that you crossed where it no longer became fawning. It was mutual at the time. Legendary fucking quote. Anyway. Ren's screenshots show the exact opposite of a fawn response through repeated initiation, escalation of intimate physical topics, and the establishment of sexual expectations and boundaries. Next bullet point, Ren's annotations misrepresent her own proactive behavioral as Zeal's manipulation. And then the last one is the evidence she herself supplied proves she did not and could not develop a fawn response. Most bullshit part. Second most bullshit part of the entire document. Section 6. Zeal did not sexually assault Ren. Ren claims that Zeal sexually assaulted her on the night of September 3rd, 2025, and again the following night in her hotel room. She also claims she went along with it, in quotation marks, during and after the encounters due to the fawn response. In bold, it reads, the evidence Ren herself provides shows the opposite. The screenshots and timeline demonstrate that Ren retained clear agency and the ability to communicate at every stage, and that Zeal repeatedly stopped when asked. As established in Section 5, no fawn response was possible, making her explanation that she went along with it due to fawning impossible. Even before the first sexual encounter, Zeal demonstrated a pattern of checking in and respecting Ren's comfort. Oh. While hugging her, he explicitly asked her to let him know when she wanted to let go, with him, immediately releasing her the moment she indicated discomfort. Throughout their interactions, he repeatedly showed care for her emotional state and attempted to comfort her when she was upset. See sections 3 and 4. In the lead up to the first sexual encounter, Ren was crying loudly in her hotel room. She requested that Zeal come comfort her, during which he held her for approximately an hour and a half while she screamed, vented, and released everything she had been holding in. Zeal continued to show extended care for Ren's emotional state by staying with her instead of leaving to have dinner with mutual friends. Page 65. Really? Hold on. I'm actually going to check that out right now. Sorry, I know we're kind of cross-referencing here. This isn't that. Okay, I guess I have like a doc that... Never mind. I was going to cross-reference. I fucking can't. During this time, Ren was actively communicating and participating in the interaction. As the encounter becomes more physical, Ren describes the shift from comforting to sexual as follows. Zeal lifted my arms and pinned them above my head, slowly, gently. He pushed his lips on my chin, and he began breathing heavily. He became feral. Without warning, he forced his tongue deep into my mouth. I did not understand what was happening. My body felt strange. I was confused. But before I could process, he put his hand inside my shirt and began touching my chest. He pulled my pants and underwear off. He began fingering me aggressively. Page 65 to 66. While Zeal's more direct and forward style appears to stem from inexperience and porn-influenced expectations, the document context shows he was operating under a reasonable belief that the encounter was wanted. This activity followed weeks of mutual flirting and intimate contact at RDC, including hugging, hand-holding, and cuddling. The cuddle, while Ren vented immediately beforehand, and Zeal's claim that Ren requested the kiss that led to sex. Okay. This is before his response, not his video. So, he did say that in his response video. Where are we at? 39. Okay. It's number 12. Anyway. Okay. She told... Wait, hold on. Where was I? Zeal's claim that Ren requested the kiss that led to sex. Immediately after this point, Ren repeatedly communicated pain and boundaries. She told Zeal, it hurts. Multiple times when he was fingering her, he stopped. That's bolded. The specific act she objected to. When he removed his pants and she yelled, no, don't, no, he immediately put them back on. Ren then reversed her no and reassured him, insisting, it's okay, I didn't mean it. Zeal did nothing wrong to pressure or coerce this reversal. Ren actively participated, including suggesting touching him and offering oral sex. She also assured him multiple times that she wanted the encounter. Ren repeatedly refers to this same encounter as one in which she went limp and nonverbal, yet her own description shows repeated clear verbal communication during the encounter itself. This directly contradicts her claim of clear non-consent. Regarding the encounter, Ren later wrote that Zeal turned my pain into rejection. He used my fear of abandonment to make me comply. Every time I resisted, he made me feel like the problem. However, her own description shows the opposite. Zeal stopped the specific act she objected to when she said, it hurts. With no coercion or pressure. Dude, I don't know if I'm fucking saying this right. Am I saying this right? Coercion? I don't know. I know I'm probably saying it wrong, okay? I'm not perfect! Or pressure placed upon her. Furthermore, his comment, well, I'm tired, guess we're not into each other, is clearly a reference to her inability to become physically aroused, not an attempt to coerce or guilt her. This is supported by Ren's comments on her arousal, writing, it worked multiple times when I did it alone, and because I know I can get aroused I think it's just how to do it. Pages 68 to 75. The entire encounter reads as two inexperienced people having sex for the first time, which both have confirmed it was, in two different styles. Zeal being more direct and to the point, influenced by porn, and Ren preferring to be more romantic and wordy, oh my god. Can't speak. Ren preferring to be more romantic and wordy, influenced by erotica. Real sex often relies on body language and social cues, and Ren's own detailed account shows Zeal responded to her verbal and physical signals by stopping when asked and proceeding only when she reassured and participated. Consent cannot be revoked in one's head while one is verbally giving reassurance and actively participating. Now, whenever you are participating in an act, it does not mean you are consenting in an act. If you're giving reassurance and actively, Zeal was moving on according to Zeal, he was moving on what was. And even in the document, he was moving on what he was being told. Assuming, I guess, it was okay, right? I'm not defending him right here, right? I'm just saying, I'm just speaking at it from looking at this and applying it here. Consent isn't always active while you're participating. That's not true. That statement is not true. Cannot be revoked in one's head while. Okay. I will continue onwards. After the first encounter, Ren's behavior continued to contradict any claim of non-consent, fear, or fawning. She immediately texted Zeal, reassured him, and engaged in further sexting. She even told Zeal she had fantasized about him, writing, "It worked multiple times when I did it alone," before admitting in her own document that this was a lie. I don't know how the fuck you're gonna... Yeah, it's a lie, bro, but I said it. Like, okay, what? Later that afternoon, Ren remained actively communicative and proactive. She explicitly talked to Zeal about respecting her and laid out her boundaries, requests, and expectations for sex in detail before anything physical happened. Excuse me. She instructed him to take it slow, to provide foreplay, and to be romantic while insisting that she wanted the encounter. Insert the pages and figs that was said. She also reassured Zeal that she knew she could get aroused, telling him, "Because I know I can get aroused. I think it's just how to do it. It's got to be slow and stuff like we can just talk about when it happens." Page 75 of her document. She even offered him her spare room key, spent part of the day researching what would make sex more enjoyable next time, and specifically requested neck kisses. Although she later claimed she had been fawning during these messages, Section 5 already established that no fawn response was possible. Furthermore, someone in genuine fear would not proactively arrange further sexual contact, offer their room key, or spend time planning improvements for the next encounter. Jesus, yeah, this sentence right fucking here, man. During the second sexual encounter, Zeal respected the boundaries Ren had explicitly set. He placed his bare penis against her genitals, but verbally... Getting another sip of water. I'm running out of air. Okay. Walking back in. He placed his bare penis against her genitals, but verbally reassured her, "Don't worry, I won't put it in. I just want to feel it," and did not penetrate her. No penile penetration occurred. Ren states nowhere that Zeal broke any of her established boundaries on the second night. Yet she later claims that hickeys were left on her without consent. She only noticed the hickeys after the fact and provides no description of Zeal violating any of the specific limits that she had just communicated. Okay. In bold, it says, "These hickeys were the direct result of the neck kisses she herself had specifically requested when planning the encounter. This shows Zeal not only listened to Ren's wishes, but actively improved his approach on the second night by honoring every limit and request she had communicated." The following day, Ren told others about their sexual encounter despite Zeal explicitly not wanting her to share it, directly going against his wishes. She specifically acknowledges this, writing, "I'm so sorry, Zeal. I betrayed you. I got too excited. I betrayed you, but I didn't mean any malice or ill will. Ill will. I got ahead of myself because I got too happy and too excited, and though my close friends could keep a secret, as they told me about their experiences." Pages 146 to 149. A person in a true fawn response would appease the perceived threat and avoid actions that could provoke conflict or abandonment. Openly discussing intimate details against Zeal's explicit instructions is the opposite of fawning. Oh, shit. That's a fucking bar. Ruh-roh. Anyway, additionally, this entire document is written from the biased point of view of Ren, who has already been decisively shown in sections 3, 4, and 5 to misrepresent her own evidence to be contradictory. God damn, 47 through 77. We're already an hour and 20 minutes into this fucking document. God damn it. I've lost count. I think that's 13. Anyway. Ren's own evidence clearly demonstrates that she retained full agency and the ability to communicate her wishes at every stage. I thought you were writing this without that. Might want to go back and Ren's... Oh, wait, no. I thought that said Zeal. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Ren's own evidence clearly demonstrates that she retained full agency and the ability to communicate her wishes at every stage. She actively set boundaries, had those boundaries respected, and repeatedly initiated and participated in the sexual framing both before and after the encounters. Even days later, Zeal referenced Ren being on top during the second encounter, further demonstrating the control and active role she exercised. It is impossible for her to have been limp and nonverbal while claiming, no, don't know, repeatedly stating it hurts, laying out detailed expectations, and directing the encounter. I think that's from the first encounter. Okay. That's from the first encounter, not from the second. If she was directing the second encounter, okay. Yeah, I don't think this is right. If it would have been impossible for her to have been limp and nonverbal. Well, did she not state that in her document? Let's go and find out! Let's see. It's all the way at the top. Sorry, I know this is probably not fun to look at. Let me just scroll and click to it. Not give anybody an epilepsy warning here. Let's see. During the second night, he places, wouldn't put her down. No, she didn't say that. She only said it on the first night that she went limp and nonverbal, so that claim is not true. You need to go and change that. It is equally impossible for her to have been in genuine fear while offering Zeal her room. Yeah, that shit right there. Her room key. Or to have been fawning while openly discussing intimate details against his explicit wishes. This entire document is written from the biased perspective of Ren, who has already been decisively shown in sections 3, 4, and 5 to misrepresent her own evidence and contradict herself. Zeal did not sexually assault Ren. I think this is all the evidence. I've already gone over this, but I'll kind of do it. There's the voice message. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. You're so fucking lovely. I mean it. You want to know? I fantasized about you multiple times. The Gooner. You're so fucking funny, man. Yeah. I won't read any of this just because we've already kind of taken a look at this. Or we were already reading about it. You can go back and you can look at it. This shit right here, though, is yeah. Anyway. Moving on. Ren explicitly communicates her boundaries and expectations for the second sexual encounter. In summary, Ren retained full agency and the clear ability to communicate her wishes at every stage. Ren actively set detailed sexual boundaries and expectations. Zeal respected every boundary Ren set, such as immediately stopping when she expressed that she did not want him to take off his pants. Immediately stopping when she expressed that the fingering hurt her. Immediately releasing her when she expressed discomfort during hugging. Honoring all limits she established for the second night. Only continuing when Ren reassured him that she wanted to proceed. Sure isn't consent, guys. Anyway. Ren proactively initiated intimate contact, escalated physical topics, offered Zeal her room key, referenced being on top, and planned improvements for the next encounter, directly contradicting any claim of non-consent, fawning, or fear. Where was the claim that she was on top? Let's see here. I'll guide you. Last night you just ripped everything off. Okay. I've been slow. That's why it's easier. No. Don't rush. Okay. Okay. This is from the 4th. Okay. Where is the... Wait. If you stayed, I would have loved to sleep next to you. Okay, you're a good guy. Okay. Where's that claim at? That she was on top. Forced in the second encounter, page 199. Let's go here and let's go to 199 and try to find it. Okay. Hold on. I do want to try this. Doesn't got to... Hold on. Yeah, I remember this. Okay. Thinking about the idiot blank name, silly guy. Nope. Sorry, guys. I know this is probably hard to listen to, but I do want to find this. I'll find it another time. Sorry, I didn't mean to, ruin the flow here. Okay. Moving on. Skipping a lot of pages here. Section 7. Ren attempted to force Zeal into a romantic relationship. Ren presents herself as the passive victim of Zeal's advances, implying that any romantic or emotional attachment was something he created or encouraged. The evidence she provides shows the opposite. From the earliest days of their renewed contact and continuing long after the encounters, it was Ren who repeatedly introduced romantic language, declared love, pushed for dating and future plans, and used guilt, fear of abandonment, and emotional pressure in an attempt to force Zeal into a committed romantic relationship. Zeal consistently and explicitly rejected that framing. Ren's romantic More water. Ren's romantic escalation, fucking God, began almost immediately. On pages 46 and 47, she sent, "You give the best hugs ever. You're so cute. I love you. Good night." The first clear "I love you" language before any sexual contact occurred. On page 58, she interpreted his comforting behavior as him trying to show me he loves me. By page 66, she admitted she was trying as hard as I could to appeal to him so he would not abandon me, so he would not tell me when we did not, sorry. What? Okay. Trying as hard as he could to appeal to him so he could not abandon me, so he would not tell me we did not work, so he would not say we were not in love, even though no romantic relationship had been established. On page 67, she told him directly, "Zeal, please listen to me. It's okay. I love you, Zeal." Zeal responded by setting clear boundaries. On page 78, he stated, "I'm not that big of a romantic, sorry." On page 86, he explicitly clarified, "By the way, this isn't dating, so no overdoing, no ODing when we get back, okay?" I don't know what ODing is. I think it means overdoing it. Want to make that clear. In her annotations, Ren acknowledges this was not a relationship, therefore I shouldn't expect any love. Ren continued pushing regardless. After the encounters, Ren's attempts to force a romantic relationship became even more intense. If you've read the Twitter DMs, mercy on your soul, because oh my God, that Ren's attempts to force a romantic relationship could not be more true. Hold on. I don't know. I think the claim was he asked her for the Twitter to, like, I don't know, goon or do whatever. But still, some of the text messages in that whoa, okay. Like, love bombing to the fucking extreme, bro. Anyway, on page 129, she told him, I love you, Zeal. Okay, I wish you the best. We wouldn't have connected the way we did this fucking close if we did not love each other and care this deeply, and I appreciate it so much. Ren's suicide attempt, page 147 to 148, was triggered by her overwhelming guilt after she told others about the sexual encounters despite Zeal's explicit request not to. During the crisis, she sent Zeal multiple messages declaring her love. A stranger who saved her on the sidewalk convinced her not to end her life specifically by telling her that Zeal loves her and cares so much about you to trust you and he won't hate you. Ren credited this romantic reassurance with saving her life and processed those words as confirmation of a romantic connection. The fact that she considered ending her life over guilt about betraying Zeal and uncertainty about whether he loved her back reveals the unhealthy and obsessive level of her romantic fixation. Okay. All right. On pages 197 to 199, she proposed going on dates and traveling together. In response, on pages 203 and 205, Zeal repeatedly and explicitly rejected her suggestions, writing, mentally, I don't want to have a long-term relationship, long-distance relationship thing. I don't know how to word it. He insisted that meeting up would have been only a one-time thing because it'd get expensive for the both of us, and it wouldn't be healthy. Ren continued to ignore Zeal's clear rejection. Okay, I'll say this, and all the Ren supporters out there are going to agree with me on this part. Zeal's response, the video response, the I've killed myself response, that entire response message, he was claiming he loved Ren. So I'm confused why he's making that claim now when he was very clearly trying to reject her in the messages. I'm a little confused about that. Like I said, guys, I'm fucking neutral. Anyway, on pages 203, 205, she wrote, I want to date you to get to know you better. When Zeal was unreceptive, she insisted, writing, let it flow, don't overthink it. We are 22, Zeal. We're young as fuck. You're worth the risk to me. You deserve love, so do I. But we both know whatever the fuck is happening between us doesn't sound like it could happen with others, or at least that's how I see it. She continued to push the idea that Zeal being uninterested in a romantic relationship was simply not having figured out what he wanted yet or how he would achieve it, writing, I don't expect a lot of words here. I don't expect you or me to have the future figured out right this moment, right now, so just live in the moment. Enjoy it. Let yourself feel. The conversation ended that night with Ren texting Zeal, man up, I need you to be more brave than this, and I will be too. The following day, Zeal once again pushed back, writing on pages 207 and 208 that he was not ready to love anyone just yet, and that he was not ready for that responsibility yet. Zeal also mentions that Ren discussing marriage after 2 days of smileys scared him. He insisted that he still viewed Ren as a friend, stating, I still see you as a friend, right? Been friends for years. It's weird going from friends to lovers. I don't like it. It's new and weird. I'm not ready for that. Ren dismissed his concerns, telling him, I don't mind waiting, while continuing to pressure him for dating and love. Continuing to pressure him? Pressure? Anyway. The conversation continues on pages 210 and 218, with Ren insisting that his actions during the cuddle meant he must have romantic feelings. She questioned why friends would participate in intimate actions and pushed once again him to be more brave, even after Zeal stated plainly on page 218 that they could keep being friends because he was not ready to actually love anyone yet. Ren kept reframing the situation romantically. Ren ended communication with Zeal in a highly volatile and explosive manner on pages 249 and 257. She spiraled through declarations of love. I love you so much. Bitter accusations that he only wanted her for sex. All I am is just a body to all I am to you is just a body to fuck. Heavy guilt over betraying him. I betrayed you. I hurt you so many times. And raw, unhinged emotion outbursts. I want you to go fuck yourself, not apologize either. And fuck you. In this final exchange, Ren herself brought up Zeal's earlier comment about having sex with other women. When Zeal calmly reminded her, because we aren't dating, she erupted. She screamed that it was crazy, in quotation marks. He could talk openly about fucking other friends while she could not tell anyone about what they did. Raged, I feel fucking disgusting. I let someone this shitty touch me, fuck you, and declared I would never fucking date a piece of shit like you anyway, all while still cycling through expressions of love and pain. This outburst perfectly illustrates the pattern Ren had developed over weeks. She repeatedly forced romantic declarations, future plans, and emotional commitment on Zeal despite his explicit refusals. The moment he restated the boundary she had already knew, she unleashed unhinged rage and devaluation. The unhinged rage. The unhinged rage of no longer know scares even the gods, bro. The screenshots. Oh my gosh, hold on. I gotta stretch my back. I've been like hitting that shrimp pose reading this document for the past almost 2 hours. The screenshots Ren herself supplied show that this pattern was consistent throughout the entire interaction. By ignoring Zeal's clearly stated boundaries and using guilt, fear of abandonment, and emotional pressure to force a romantic relationship, Ren demonstrated the very behavior that will be examined in sections 8, 9, and 10. Okay, I'm kind of really tired, exhausted, everything, and I want you to go fuck yourself, not apologize either. What? Read it again. I'm confused. Where's this coming from? A lot. What's it called? What's it coming from? Wait. A lot. What? You just don't like me. It's that fucking simple, man. Stop acting like you do. You don't. I don't know why you keep trying, and this is on, okay. I don't know why I keep trying him for what I don't know, why I keep thinking he's my friend, realizing I was just a benefit. Just tell me you don't like me and let me move forward with my time. When you act like this, yeah, it's difficult. Thanks for letting me know. You have mood swings constantly. I don't see why me wanting to hang out with the people I'm closer friends with is a problem. You think the world is out to get you. It isn't. No one is out to get you. I'm not out to get you. Ren said, it's not that, and you know that. Yeah, I remember this. Okay. Yeah, it's not about that. You know that. Can you not read and stop repeating whatever bullshit you're going to what's going on in your head right now? Using my mood swings against me as if I never have any rational thoughts about things that happen with me and happen to me. I'm incapable of fucking feeling shit that I'm upset about. Okay, I will be honest then, I'm upset. Yeah, you should be. Because you kept going around telling people, I've been told that it was way more than just 3 people. I feel betrayed. Yeah, hold on. I remember this. What? Feel bad. Yup. This is the outburst. Okay, I'm not going to read all this. Voice crack. I'm not going to read all this. No matter what you say. You'll see me as downplaying. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I've already read this. Third time situation, same thing, just tiny bit different. Oh my fucking god, you're so fucking stupid. Okay. Figs 40 through 50. Ren erupts into rage, devaluation, and vilification. In summary, Ren repeatedly introduced romantic declarations, I love you statements, dating proposals, and future plans from the very beginning of their renewed contact. Zeal consistently and explicitly rejected any romantic... I don't know if you guys can hear my voice giving out on me. Anyway, continuing. Zeal consistently and explicitly, that was number 14, by the way. Zeal consistently and explicitly rejected any romantic relationship, dating, or love. Ren ignored Zeal's clear boundaries and dismissed his concerns. Ren's obsession with Zeal's Potential romantic feelings reached an unhealthy extreme, leading to extreme guilt over betraying him and a subsequent suicide attempt. The evidence Wren herself supplied proves she manipulated Zeal through guilt, fear of abandonment, and emotional pressure in an attempt to force him into a romantic relationship. We're almost done with the document. Section 8. Wren habitually disregards the boundaries of others. Wren presents herself as someone who is constantly disrespected and mistreated by those around her. The evidence she herself provides shows the opposite. She repeatedly, and deliberately disregarded the clearly stated boundaries of others, including Zeal and several other pressure developers, before criticizing them for not being kind or welcoming enough to her when they enforced those boundaries. The pattern began well before RDC. In the opening pages of the document, Wren admitted she had blocked Kat during a difficult period. She later asked Zeal to help her bypass that block, writing, "Is it a good time to let me apologize for blocking her during that time? I wasn't doing too good." I thought that was Zerum. Was that Kat? I thought that was Zerum. I think it was... Okay. And I feel so bad for her to wish to make... Actually, I'm going to just... 63, I'm going to check that shit really fast. I believe it was... Yeah, wait. Yeah, it's about Zerum. Not about... Okay, I think that's a typo in this document. Anyway. Well, hold on. Mistreatment of Cat. Why are we talking about Cat? I thought it was Zerum. Hold on. Wait. Okay, it says... Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Could you screenshot this or maybe send it back? Even while acknowledging her past mistreatment of Kat and claiming she was now on meds and calmer, she still tried to use Zeal as a conduit to contact someone who had set a clear boundary against her. The same pattern continued at RDC. On September 5th, 2025, Wren approached Kat, Zerum, and Hobo, even though she knew they had distanced themselves or had her blocked. She writes that she decided to try to clear the air and apologize. Fig 51. Zerum kept turning her back on me and was cold and pointed as if my presence was something to be endured and removed as quickly as possible. Kat was friendlier, but in the way someone is when they're trying to get you to leave without a scene. When Hobo offered her stickers, she became upset and initially told him she did not want them, then apologized and accepted some. She later ripped up everything Kat and Zerum gave her and threw them in the trash the same day. Yeah, yeah. Saying like I didn't fucking know that. I knew that. Zombie doesn't read the documents. God, no! I swear I am. Guys, you're hearing me reading them. I swear this isn't an AI voice changer of Zombie reading these documents. I'm doing it, I promise. This reactive outburst when people were not as receptive or warm as she expected highlights her mental instability and difficulty handling any boundary or response that did not align with her desires. Instead of respecting their clear desire for distance, she criticized them for not being warm or kind enough towards her and framed their polite but distant responses as disrespect. Weeks later, on September 19th, 2025, Wren was still spiraling about the RDC encounter. She complained that Kat had shaped how the team saw me and found the best way to say it when explaining the team's view of her. She raged that the team treated her as a villain for guilt-tripping Zeal into firing her for leaking the soundtrack early, which Wren denies. She continuously expresses frustration that the team remembered her negatively, and did not want to give her another chance. Pages 228 to 239 in her document. Instead of accepting that the team has set boundaries after her actions, she continued to blame Kat for the team's attitude and criticized them for not being willing to forgive or reconnect. The screenshots Wren supplied demonstrate that she was the one who initiated contact with people who had already set boundaries against further interaction. When those individuals responded minimally or maintained distance, she interpreted their behavior as personal rejection and publicly criticized them for not being sufficiently kind or accommodating. This pattern of ignoring clearly communicated boundaries and then blaming others for not being warm enough reveals a consistent disregard for the personal space and the limits of those around her. It is this same behavior that we will be examining more in sections 9 and 10. She writes in her document, I've been excluded from Zeal's server. I have been told I could not speak to Zeron because she was unwell. Sorry guys, it's been a lot. I had been kept at a distance from people on his team for months, managed and redirected every time I tried to reach out. Here in person at the conference, there was no buffer. I saw them, I decided to try. Figure 51, decides to go and attempt to talk to them. In summary, Ren repeatedly ignored the clearly stated boundaries of Zeal and other pressure developers. That is something I don't think many people have looked into. And, I will say that, didn't respect Zeal's boundaries and also did not respect some of the other set boundaries from the other people. Regardless of how you feel about how the pressure team handled Ren, whenever somebody does set boundaries, yes, you gotta at least respect them. You know what I mean? At the bare minimum, you gotta respect them. Not go up to them, not try to make it awkward or weird. Yeah, that's, okay. She forced reconnection and interaction with individuals who had already expressed they did not want contact. When those individuals maintained their boundaries, Ren criticized them for not being kind enough or welcoming enough to her. The evidence Ren herself supplied proves she was the one who disregarded the boundaries of others, not the other way around. Section 9. Ren's actions are abusive. Ren consistently portrays herself as the victim of manipulation and emotional abuse. The evidence she herself supplies demonstrates that she was the one engaging in abusive behavior towards Zeal. The core of Ren's abusive behavior was her repeated use of guilt tripping and suicide baiting to control Zeal's emotions and actions. This is especially clear during her suicide attempts shown on pages 147 and 148. Ren's document claims that Zeal manufactured a situation that he knew would trigger her borderline personality disorder. Sorry if I read that wrong. It's borderline personality disorder, causing her to attempt suicide and make threats of physical harm against others. Zeal, and then the screenshot from her document. Zeal knows I have BPD. He knows this for He has known this for as long as we've been close. He knows what it means. The fear of abandonment, that I can become consuming, the way emotional pain can escalate past what I can regulate on my own, the way I can spiral when I feel cornered or disregarded. He knows all of this. That night, he used it. He engineered a situation that he could trigger me. He knew exactly which lever to pull, and he pulled it. When I lost control. This is what BPD looks like when someone who knows your diagnosis deliberately pushes on it. I said things I did not mean. I made threats. I am physically small. He knows I am physically small. He has always known that. The threats were empty, and he knew they were empty. He had just left marks on my neck 3 nights before. I have never hurt anyone in my life. But the threats existed now, and that is what mattered to him. Figure 52. Ren claims that Zeal engineered a situation for her by her. My brain wants to read it as bipolar, and I know it's not. So I know it's borderline personality disorder. I just read it, and my brain automatically snaps to it. I promise that's not the case. To trigger leading to her suicide attempt. She also admits to making physical threats. However, it is clear from reading the full screenshot she provided that her suicide attempt was caused by extreme guilt over betraying Zeal's trust, specifically by telling others about their sexual encounter, Fig 53 to 54. During the attempt, she spammed him with messages declaring her love while in crisis. A stranger who saved her on the sidewalk convinced her not to end her life, specifically by telling her that Zeal loves her and cares so much about you to trust you and wouldn't hate you. Ren credited... I'm gonna raw dog the rest of this shit without any water. Let's see here. 10 more pages. We got this shit, guys. It's like a fucking marathon. I'm used to doing this. I did this for 3 hours. I got it. Ren credited this romantic reassurance with saving her life and processed those words as confirmation of a romantic connection. This type of suicide baiting is particularly harmful and traumatic for the recipient. Being told that someone is considering harming themselves because of how much they care about you, or because of uncertainty about your feelings, places an enormous and unfair burden on the victim. It creates panic, guilt, and a sense of responsibility for the other person's life, forcing the victim to drop everything to manage the abuser's emotions. Ren used this tactic to illicit sympathy. I've never seen that word. Compliance and continued emotional investment from Zeal. She continued this pattern in later messages. On September 11th, she apologized for the previous interaction, but the apology quickly turned into manipulation. She told Zeal, I fucking miss you so much. Expressed fear of being blocked and begged, I'll give you all the space you ever need, just please don't go away. She sought constant reassurance that he would not abandon her, forcing Zeal to regulate her mental state. On September 16th, after Zeal clearly stated that he was not ready for love or a relationship, Ren spammed him with 22 messages in a row. She pinned her mental stability on his decision, writing, my fear of abandonment grows stronger every day, and the past week didn't help. I got... end of that quote. Another quote. I got scared and started trying to drag you into this whole love thing so you don't disappear. And the first time I didn't feel scared was when you held me. She repeatedly made her emotional regulation his responsibility. Okay. Ren also weaponized her BPD diagnosis both as an excuse for her behavior and as a tool to elicit sympathy and compliance. She often brought up being on meds and calmer now, or used her mental illness both as an excuse for her behavior and as a tool to gain sympathy or forgiveness. This is particularly evident in her attempts to bypass boundaries by claiming she was now stable and deserved another chance. See Section 2. When Ren referred to her behavior as mood swings, Ren reacted with rage and accused him of dismissing her feelings. The evidence Ren herself provided reveals a consistent pattern of abuse behavior, disregarding boundaries, forcing unwanted romantic feelings, guilt-tripping, weaponizing her mental health, and using suicide baiting to control and manipulate those around her. Okay. It's the same behavior that will be examined in more detail in Section 10. You know, this might be a hot take to make, but you could also make the same... I personally don't believe this is the case, but you could also make the same statement over Zeal. How that video he made was an attempt to garner sympathy. I mean, look, man, it seems like there's just a mental problem all the way around with both parties. They both are very clearly mentally unwell. But I mean, yeah, this is so fucked up. Here are all the screenshots. I betrayed you. Yeah, I'm sorry, Zeal. I'm sorry. I want to know this shit right here. Fucking, my fear of abandonment grows stronger every day. I got scared and started trying to drag you down, the whole love thing, so you don't disappear. Where's this at? Where was this? What figure is this? Give me this figure. Where is this? No page number. Wait. Wrong thing. Figs 40 and 50. Okay. No, wrong ones. Hold on. I'll find it afterwards, but if it's not right, I'll make a edit about it. Guy walking his dog. Yep. In summary, Ren repeatedly used guilt tripping and suicide baiting to manipulate Zeal's emotions and behavior. Ren weaponized her BPD diagnosis both as an excuse for her actions and as a tool to elicit sympathy and compliance. She made her mental state and emotional stability Zeal's responsibility, forcing him to regulate her well-being. Excuse me. The evidence Ren herself supplied proves her actions were abusive. Last section, I believe, aside from the works cited. Section 10. Ren's BPD drove her vilification and retaliation against Zeal. Ren has openly acknowledged her BPD diagnosis through the document. The evidence that she herself supplies shows that her diagnosis, borderline personality disorder, profoundly influenced her behavior during many patterns already examined in sections 7, 8, and 9. Borderline personality disorder is a mental health condition defined in part by an intense, overwhelming fear of being abandoned or rejected by people one is close to. People with BPD often experience this fear as so painful that they go to extreme lengths, sometimes called frantic efforts, to prevent it. Even when the threat is only imagined, Ren repeatedly showed this exact pattern. On page 66, Ren admitted she was trying as hard as she could to appeal to him so he would not abandon me. So he would not tell me we did not work, so he would not say we were in love. On page 87, she wrote, I believe that keeping Zeal happy is something I can't afford to fail at, or he will abandon me forever. Losing Zeal was something I believed was the scariest thing ever. On page 210, she stated, my fear of abandonment grows stronger every day, and the past week didn't help. This fear fueled her obsession with Zeal and her relentlessness pressure for romantic commitment and reassurance. Another core feature of BPD is affective instability, described as sudden, intense, and rapid shifts in mood that can swing from extreme happiness to deep sadness or rage in a very short time. Ren herself describes this on page 63, writing, my BPD switch is happening, and I went from extremely happy to extremely sad, and I'm crying a lot. Zeal directly referenced her having mood swings constantly. The document shows these swings in action, from idealizing Zeal and declaring love to sudden rage, self-deprecation, and vilification when she perceived rejection. This emotional instability also appears in her mistreatment of others. She describes herself as becoming the villain to the pressure team and referenced past conflicts with Kat and Zerum. See sections 8 and page 228. People with BPD frequently struggle to regulate their own emotions and can end up making others responsible for their own mental well-being. On September 6th, after Zeal clearly stated that he was not ready for love or a relationship, Ren spammed him with 22 messages in a row. She pinned her mental stability on his decision, writing, my fear of abandonment grows stronger every day, and the past week didn't help. I got scared and started trying to drag you into this whole love thing so you wouldn't disappear. And the first time I didn't feel scared was when you held me. As evaluated in section 9, Ren repeatedly made her emotional regulation Zeal's responsibility. BPD also includes recurrent suicidal behavior or threats, often triggered by feelings of abandonment or emotional pain. During her suicide attempt, pages 147 to 148, triggered by her overwhelming guilt when she perceived him as betraying Zeal, she spiraled when he did not reply promptly. My bad. She spammed him with messages declaring her love while in crisis. She admitted making threats against him during this breakdown, yet diminished the threats by noting she was physically small. A stranger on the sidewalk convinced her not to end her life, specifically by telling her that Zeal loves her and cares so much about you to trust you and he wouldn't hate you. Ren credited this romantic reassurance with saving her life. This suicide attempt exemplifies core BPD features: reluctant suicidal behavior or threats triggered by perceived abandonment and affective instability. And then, source. Ren's BPD could have caused her to regret the sexual encounters she had with Zeal. After the encounters, Ren framed them as non-consensual sexual assault, despite her earlier reassurances, detailed boundary setting before the second night. Planning, and then that's you can go here and Look at that, pages 78 to 96 to 100. Planning improvements for next time, page 79. Offering Zeal her room key and referencing being on top, page 199. This rapid shift from active participation, forward planning to regret and vilification is consistent with negative memory bias. She did say she had a really bad memory in those Twitter DMs. The well-documented tendency in BPD for people to selectively recall or reinterpret past events in a more negative light once emotional distress or perceived rejection sets in. This behavior is also in line with post-event devaluation, in which an initially idolized person is suddenly recast as entirely harmful or abusive. And then the source right there. These cognitive distortions are common when abandonment, fear, or emotion dysregulation are activated. Ren's BPD caused her to be manipulative and to misrepresent the situation, whether she was so intentionally or though the distorted way her memory worked because of the disorder. Whew, okay. People with BPD often engage in both deliberate reframing of events to protect themselves emotionally and unintentionally misremembering due to two well-documented features of the disorder: negative memory bias and distorted recall under emotional stress. Negative memory bias is the tendency for someone with BPD, when upset or feeling rejected, to selectively remember or interpret past events in a more negative light, making the other person appear worse than they actually were. Well, moving on. Distorted recall means the person genuinely comes to believe their own revised vision of the event. Hold on. I gotta turn this fucking light on. No, I'm not reading this off of a book. But the screen is like straining my eyes. All right. Distorted recall means the person genuinely comes to believe their own revised version of events because the emotional intensity of BPD interferes with accurate memory. In Ren's case, she reframed the events to cast herself as the constant victim and Zeal as the abuser. She absorbed and repeated others' framing of events, most clearly the "forced to fire me" narrative on page 228, rewrote her own involuntary quit as something Zeal forced on her, and altered key details, such as who initiated Reconnection and suggested meeting up at RDC. That is, I think that is correct. These patterns of intentional victim framing combined with unintentional misremembering align with the negative memory bias and distorted recall under emotional stress that are well documented in BPD, allowing her to both deliberately shape a victim narratively and genuinely believe her own revised vision of the events. Source. These distortions are examined in detail in section 11 when discussing Ren's manipulation of the reader. Perhaps most importantly, research on BPD shows that when individuals feel abandoned or rejected, they frequently engage in retaliatory or punitive behaviors aimed at the perceived source of the abandonment. People with BPD often punish others for not meeting their intensive needs or for triggering feelings of abandonment. Source. Ren's BPD caused her to intensively vilify Zeal after rejection. The final conversation on pages 249 and 257 provides clear, real-time proof of this process. After Zeal calmly reminded her of the boundary she already knew, because we aren't dating, Ren immediately erupted in a full rage cycle, ending in extreme devaluation and vilification, see section 8 in parentheses. This is a textbook demonstration of splitting and devaluation. The person who had been idolized is suddenly viewed as entirely bad, worthless, and abuse the moment they... A lot of words. Suddenly viewed as entirely bad, worthless, and abusive the moment they enforce a boundary and trigger feelings of abandonment. Ren's BPD caused her to retaliate against Zeal by creating this document. The entire 100-plus pages and over 200 screenshots was produced after the final explosive rejection on pages 249 and 257. Throughout her document, Wren systematically reframes every interaction to turn Zeal into the villain and herself into the victim. This is the direct continuation of the splitting and devaluation, I think that's how you say that, devaluation that into the victim. That turned her into the victim? Okay. This is the direct continuation of the splitting and devaluation that occurred the instant Zeal enforced his boundary. The document itself is the ultimate retaliatory act, a comprehensive public vilification of Zeal triggered by the very rejection she experienced in that final conversation. BPD is also strongly associated with... wow, fucking a lot. That was a mouthful. BPD is also strongly associated with significant self-sabotage, behaviors that ultimately harm the individual's own goals or relationships, such as dramatic quitting of jobs, creating conflicts that lead to isolation, or engaging in actions that require rejection. Source. Wren's actions quitting in a dramatic fashion, page 5 and 6, forcing interactions at RDC with people who had set clear boundaries against her, see section 8, in parentheses, absorbing and repeating the force to fire me narrative she knew was inaccurate, page 228, and ultimately producing this document fit this self-sabotaging pattern exactly by creating and distributing a lengthy public accusation document. Wren guaranteed further isolation and rejection while simultaneously... Oh my God! Wren guaranteed further isolation and rejection while simultaneously harming her own credibility and future relationships. Scientific research strongly supports these connections. Borderline personality disorder is defined in part by frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment, unstable and intensive relationships, affective instability, rapid mood swings, and recurrent suicidal behaviors or threats. Source. Studies show that individuals with BPD often engage in interpersonal behaviors such as guilt induction, suicide threats, and emotional regulation demands when they perceive rejection, and that these behaviors can be experienced as abuse by others. Source. Negative memory bias and distorted recall after emotional stress are also well documented in BPD, which can lead to unintentional or motivated representation of events. Source. Splitting, rapid idealization and devaluation, and retaliatory behaviors after perceived rejection are core features that help explain the vilification and document creation. Okay. Oh my God, so much more. Where was I at? Okay, scientific, yep. And I remember this. Okay, taken together, the screenshots Wren herself chose to include paint a consistent picture. She initiated, escalated, disregarded boundaries, manipulated through guilt and suicide baiting, and when rejected, devalued and retaliated I think I said that right. Retaliated with this document. Her BPD explains the pattern. It does not excuse it. In summary, when BPD drove an intense fear of abandonment that fueled her obsession with Zeal and frantic efforts to secure romantic commitment, Wren's BPD produced rapid mood swings and emotional instability that contributed to her abusive patterns. Wren's BPD caused her to make Zeal responsible for her mental well-being. Wren's BPD led to guilt tripping, suicide baiting, and unpredictability. Wren weaponized her BPD diagnosis as an excuse for her action and as a tool to elicit sympathy and compliance. Wren's BPD ultimately caused her to regret their sexual encounters, be manipulative, misrepresent situations, vilify Zeal after rejections, retaliate by creating this document, and engage in self-sabotaging behaviors. The evidence Wren herself supplied proves her diagnosed BPD heavily influenced her manipulative and abusive patterns. Section 11. Ren has manipulated the reader of her own document. Ren's 100-plus page document with over 200 screenshots is not an objective presentation of facts. It is a carefully constructed act of manipulation designed to persuade the reader that she is the innocent victim and Zeal is the abuser. Every element, including her annotations, selective evidence, speculative interpretations, one-sided language, and omission, works together to create and reinforce this one-sided narrative. The document itself is the final and most comprehensive example of the BPD-driven manipulation patterns already examined in Section 7 through 10. If the text messages were presented without any of Ren's annotations or interpretations, the raw conversation would lead the... oh my god, he's fucking... This person is saying what I'm thinking! If the text messages were presented without any of Ren's annotations or interpretations, the raw conversation would lead most readers to the opposite conclusion, that Ren was the one who was pushy, obsessive, and actively trying to build a romantic and physical relationship. The screenshots show Ren the first message on August 11th, after weeks of silence, pages 6 to 10, on this document? Or on the, I think it's on the other one. Suggesting meeting up at RDC multiple times, repeatedly reinitiating contact, escalating intimate and physical topics, proposing the exchange of explicit gooning material, offering Zeal her room, offering Zeal her room key, and interpreting his neutral or short replies as signs of romantic interest or love. Stripped of her commentary, the evidence reveals Ren as the one driving the interaction and leading romantic intent into Zeal's ordinary responses. Oh, man. All right. Throughout the document, Ren consistently used a strong victim, trauma, and therapist-style language to frame every interaction. She repeatedly describes events with clinical-sounding terms such as assault, grooming, conditioning, fawning response. Insert the page numbers right there. Trauma response and triggered my BPD. This language is not merely descriptive. It is designed to invoke sympathy and lead her account on error or clinical authority, encouraging the reader to accept her interpretation before closely examining the raw screenshots. Ren also routinely spoke for Zeal's actions, behaviors, and words as if she knew his exact intentions and certainty. His annotations, she repeatedly claims his short or dry texts were deliberate. Coldness meant to condition her, pages 69 and 74, that he ignored normal conversation. That's bullshit. You can go and check the figures right there. That he selectively engaged only when the topics turned physical, and that he arranged or escalated contact for manipulative reasons. Okay, sorry. Just out of breath. Catching my breath. These are purely speculative claims about his internal thoughts and motivations with no supporting evidence in the screenshots themselves. Ren's annotations frequently misconstrue or directly contradict the content of the very screenshots she provides. For instance, in her annotation, she claims Zeal decided to reconnect and was the one who suggested meeting up after RDC and escalated the physical contact. Yet, the screenshots she herself included that she was the one who sent the first message on August 11th after weeks of silence. Oh, man. Suggesting meeting up at RDC multiple times, and was the one who reinitiated and escalated intimate topics. Similarly, when they shared explicit gooning material, she claimed in her annotations that Zeal sent it unprompted, but the screenshot shows she explicitly proposed the exchange by saying she would send hers if he sent his. Oh my god. Ren also left out or downplayed crucial information that is still visible in the screenshots she chose to include. She omitted or minimized the fact that she was the one who messaged Zeal first to reconnect after weeks of silence. She also concealed or downplayed that she told other people about the sexual encounters despite Zeal explicitly asking her not to. Insert page number. By selectively omitting or minimizing these facts while still proving the screenshots that contain them, Ren creates a distorted impression that supports her betrayal of herself as passive and victimized. Taken Taken together, Wren's annotations, speculative interpretations, selective omissions, and emotional language work to manipulate the reader into seeing the exact narrative she wants them to see. The document does not simply present evidence, it constructs a theory. It constructs a story. When the reader examines the raw screenshots and timeline Ren herself supplies, the manipulation becomes visible. The very document meant to prove Zeal's guilt instead reveals Ren's pattern of reframing, misrepresenting, and retaliating. Holy fuck. In summary, Ren used strong victim trauma and therapist-style language throughout the document to invoke sympathy and lead her account false clinical authority. Yeah. Okay. Ren repeatedly speculated about Zeal's intentions and her own interpretations to control how every conversation is read. Without Ren's annotations, the raw screenshots show Ren as the highly proactive and obsessive party who's initiated contact, escalated intimacy, and interpreted neutral replies as romantic interest. Ren's annotations frequently contradict the screenshots she provided and rewrite events to remove her own agency. Ren omitted or downplayed key information that is still visible in the screenshots she included, and the the evidence herself supplied proves her document is a deliberate act of manipulation and retaliation. And here's the works cited. You're welcome to go and check all these sources yourself. This looks like a very correct works cited page. This is corrected in, I think, Chicago style, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Zombie knows a little bit about writing some research essays, because I've had to do it in a history class. It's fucking boring. Wow. Okay. I'm still kind of coming together with my thoughts on this. I will say that this is a very deep dive in everything. Like, this document as a whole is a deep dive in everything. Wow. If anybody would like to talk about this further, I'll link my Discord in the description of this video as well. We are talking about it as a community in that Discord. I'm trying not to create like an echo chamber of just like one side. So please, if you have a different opinion, please come into the Discord. I want to discuss this. So, yeah. That's going to do it all for today's reading. You're welcome to go and check this out. I will link it in the description below. But yeah, that is going to do it all for today. Thank you so much for listening if you still are. But yeah, see ya.